In this module, we are going to learn more about the network manager in Linux, how to alter it using the GUI interface or through the terminal. Also, we will learn about static and dynamic IP addresses, how to set up them in Linux, as well as using the Windows Network Manager in Windows. We'll also compare the client-server network model to the peer-to-peer model, discussing advantages and disadvantages of both. In the end, we will also discuss about some popular network topologies like ring, star, and bus.
We are going to configure a wired and wireless connection in network connections GUI mode. We are first going to configure a wired connection which is named wired connection 1. We open the terminal and type the command ifconfig-a. This command will display as the device MAC address which is highlighted. We are now going to copy it and then paste in the device MAC address in the network connections. Now we are going to type the cloned MAC address. We can type in any random MAC address here because it is a MAC spoofing address. We type in a random MAC address and then we add it, and we see that a wired connection 1 has been established. Now we are going to configure a wireless connection. We type a connection name, any random name, and then we type the SSID, which is again the same name. And now we establish the mode to ad hoc. Now we go to IPv4 settings, and there we take the method as share to the other computers, and then we save it, and we see that a wireless connection has been established. Now we are going to check it through the terminal whether these connections have been established or not. We go to etc directory. We go to network connections. Which is the network manager here. And now we go to system connections directory. And then we type ls there to list the connections, and we can see that the connections with the same name have been established. Now we are going to allocate static IP address to Ethernet 0 interface. For this we go to the etc directory, and then we go to network directory, and there we type sudo gedit interfaces. So it is asking for password. We enter the password. Here we see that it is written auto allo iface allo inet loopback, where allo stands for localhost. We close it, and then we type the command ifconfig-a. We see the IPv4 address which is highlighted here. This is a dynamic IP address. Now we are again going to open the gedit of interfaces, and then we are going to make some changes. In place of LO we are going to type ETH0, and in place of loopback we will type static. Now we are going to type the address. We can type any random address. (192.168.28.66). After then we are going to type the net mask. address. This also can be random. After the net mask, we are going to type the network address. After the network, we are going to type the broadcast address. And then we are going to type the gateway address. This also can vary. Type in any.
There are some terms like IP address, MAC address, net mask address, and broadcast address which will be covered in data modules, but they have been mentioned in this module as well. Why don't you go along these definitions, and for the anxious mind, try to Google them out.
Address which you want, and then we are going to save it and then close it. After closing it, we need to update it. So we do sudo /etc/init.d/networking and then restart. This way our interfaces file will be updated. We again type the ifconfig-a command. We see that the IP address has not been changed. So for this we need to reboot the system so that the system gets updated. We type reboot. So it says permission, so we need to be root. And now we are again going to open the terminal and type the command ifconfig-a, and we see that the IPv4 address has been modified and has been given a static IP address which we had allocated earlier. Same broadcast and mask address. Now we are again going to revert back the changes which we have made earlier, and this way we will allocate a dynamic IP. We again go to etc network and then we do a sudo interfaces gedit. We type the password. In the gedit, in place of eth0 we put in hello, and in place of static we will put loopback. And the rest of the things we are going to delete. After deleting, we are going to save it and then close it. After closing, we are going to type sudo /etc/init.d/networking restart. Now we are going to type dhclient eth0. This will allocate dynamic IP. So it is asking for permissions. We type sudo dhclient eth0. Now we are done. We type command ifconfig-a. We see that still our IP has not been changed, so we need to reboot again. We do sudo reboot. Now in the terminal, we again type the command ifconfig -a, and then we can see that the IPv4 address has been changed to what the DH client may have allocated to it. Now we are going to enable or disable the network interfaces. We open the terminal and type the command ifconfig -a. This will show to us the interfaces available. There are two, Ethernet 0 and LO. Now we type the command ifconfig eth0 down. So it is asking for permissions. So we type sudo. We type the password. You can see on the right side of the screen that it shows that wired network is disconnected. Now we type the same command. In place of down we type up, and we see that on the right side we can see connection established.
So we just learned about the ifconfig command, which allows us to configure a wired connection. Typing ifconfig in the terminal window gives us the wired connections available and and means to edit them. So in a similar fashion, iwconfig, as the name suggests, can configure a wireless network, and typing it will give you the wireless connections to the computer. It can be used to set up network parameters in a similar fashion as the ifconfig command was used. Why don't you try it yourself on the terminal window? I'll give you a startup that iwconfig eth0 ssid @IT_WAP sets the SSID of the eth0 network to @ITD_WAP. In a similar fashion, eth0 mode ad hoc changes its mode to ad hoc mode. Why don't you try it yourself?